So yeah, man, thanks for joining me in this session. So
Yes. That used to be the old Western Digital factory, which I think got acquired by the group as well. And this is located right in between LDP as well as Federal Highway. My name is Sean, and that's how my professor called me because my real name is iherng, which is the channel's name. It's a YouTube channel that mainly revolves around property. So what I do is I go around Malaysia reviewing properties one by one, from the entrance to the refuse chamber to the car park to the investment value and surrounding. Nobody just walk around and share knowledge about property investment actually. So when I started it, then there was some rejection, especially from those who collect money from me lah. So I kind of broke all of people's fun wound.
you mean other influencers per se?
Gurus as per se. It's a very, very new format because conventionally, if you go into any sales gallery, there will be a big sign of no cameras. The last thing they want to happen is the competitors knowing their product inside out. The risk of buying a brand new property directly from a developer. Once you book and you make payment, you sign SPA. Maybe at stage 2A or 2B, the developer choose to abandon. Whatever money that the bank has released to the developer, that amount stays with you until you finish paying it. When a third party guy points out the good and bad, so now there's even potential where I'm doing this in closed door setting. My principles are there will be no perfect building. If everything is perfect, the price won't be. So ultimately, I just want people to make informed decisions. A lot of people get angry when they buy things because they all blame the sales staff for hiding all the not so good stuff. Yeah, so I've been doing this for 5-6 years already. So far so good, and it's a blessing to me where I'm literally doing what I love and getting paid for it, and people enjoy it. Imagine your kid, right, maybe 4 or 5 years old, taking the float and you just push him around. It's a very nice bonding moment between your families. And the convenience of your unit, so nice. Who would ever thought, right, a lazy river around the facility that, First video that I got paid for is when I do free work, I uploaded the video on my wedding day. So like, I still go and upload the video. Yeah, so when I upload the video, then project did really, really well in sales. And that was the only video that the client was doing. Because of the very big success, they kind of paise.
So they give you something.
Hey, can we offer you something? They are not paying me as per se, but they're just paying for the slot of review. So every week I will upload one property. But then whatever is written inside, they don't really get to dictate. Because when I go to site, it's my first time. And I'm seeing everything for the first time. There won't be like recce's and everything. So everything you see within the...
It's very genuine, it's very...
on the spot. So they're like, hey, why like that one? Wow, it is like real.
I think people like that also, no?
Yep, but it was a nightmare for clients.
Because they're scared that you expose something.
Yeah, it took the industry a very long time to actually highlight things that people don't like. For example, there's a low-cost housing next to a luxury component building, right? It's there. Eventually, people will know. Why don't you just tell upfront that it's there? A lot of old school marketeers are then very afraid of this kind of thing. Like when the market's education level increases, like knowledge level increases, then they will all understand, okay, this is for costing purposes. So this building is a cost approach where everything is meant to pull down the cost, so it becomes a great investment product. It's meant for investment one. You don't want like fancy stuff. If you want like for living, you go fancy, but you rent out, right, your renter can never break even one. Last time, there's no such thing. Last time, the pitch was always, location, this one you buy, sure make money. Why when we buy cars or when we buy phones, right, we look at so much reviews on videos, right? But when we make the biggest purchase ticket item in our life, right, we go by emotional. This is an individual pocket land development where they just got in this plot and they have absolutely no control over what's adjacent. For the neighboring land, it's supposed to be a road when this was sold. But suddenly, that land got transacted to a different developer and construction took place. Everyone here signed a petition and go against them on court or whatsoever. So now, there won't be any more development, but damage has been done. If you look into the site, it's now left like ruins. That's why you've got to be really, really informed when you make the decision. What's cool about the channel also, I get to see my audiences grow. Not in terms of numbers, but in terms of their wealth and knowledge level.
Alright, so if I get a little bit tactical, right? Your main channels are YouTube and podcasts,
Mainly is YouTube, then repurposed to the rest.
like Instagram. What other platforms you repurpose?
So I used to be very active on LinkedIn, but then people get very fake there. So then I don't focus there a lot, but on TikTok, then Instagram and YouTube and Spotify. During MCO, I did daily podcasts, but it was working really well until the kid came lah. So once my baby come out, then all your entire time all gone already. When I was working in the development office, the struggle was how do I get people who are working into the sales gallery when they are working Monday to Saturday, Sunday family time and chores. Who got time to go sales gallery? And sales gallery opens at 11, closes at 6. So with the convenience of YouTube now, they can see whatever I see, like in the toilet or whatsoever, right? Suddenly, in 1 week time, you spend like 25 minutes, you get to learn one property thoroughly. And a year, you will learn 52 projects already. But once people get interested, right, then only the technical question starts coming in. So that kind of branch into the podcast as well. It's like there will be questions that I answer for audiences. They write in email.
So you have a list and then you just talk about these questions.
No, I'll just randomly go to my inbox and pick an email and I'll just read from there.
From email, this is from Marcus. Dear Sean, I have been learning from your videos. It has been informative and helpful. Really appreciate your effort. I am Marcus from JB. The big question here is why a 1+1 bedroom and a 2-bathroom 810 square feet unit would cost 350 for a new unit, but a sub-sale unit it seems to be offering at a 280,000 bare unit.
Is that something that most podcasts should have? Authenticity, no rehearsal?
It depends on your comfort level though. My appearance is not the selling point, but when I start shifting over to people to people, person to person kind of thing, then only I start getting an editor or a videographer because I need to make sure my guests look good. But when I'm doing it myself, I'm like wearing singlet and all my hair's all around the place. Are you serious? You're talking about multi-million portfolios, right? In a singlet. Yeah, so that was the major lashback. But deep down, like if you cannot just look past that, I don't think you're the right fit as an audience to the channel already.
So coming back to that question you raised up earlier, right? How do you create so much content?
So my heroes of content creations will be Gary V and Casey Neistat. Yeah, so Casey Neistat work every day, right? So you got to do more kind of thing, right? So that's my thing. So yeah, everything is just do more. But what Gary V's format kind of taught is that you can repurpose. So I was doing review after review after review. Then I will start shooting podcasts and all. I was ignoring Instagram for the longest time. Then when agencies come to me hey, the client kind of likes you, but your Instagram got 2,000 followers only. So huh? So, but you are in for the YouTube channel, ma. No, it needs to be all around. Then but then this is when the preference goes to shorts. TikTok also came into play, and that's where okay, let's make another pillar where it's vertical. So there will be a time where do I shoot vertical or do I shoot horizontal? Then how do I repurpose and all? The biggest lesson was to not be romantic on production. Like my videos, most of them are grainy and subtitles are all around the place. I don't judge the content based on its production value.
Is residency wilayah a good investment to go for? First of all, thank you very much, as I always enjoy context, right? So just to break down everything, right? So this is Mochi, 32 years old, currently living with the parents and constantly quarreling. So he has the urge to move out from the house.
The worst thing is when the client keeps rejecting me for silly things. For example, can you change the music? Can you change the font?
It doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah.
It's just something that you feel only about.
Yeah, so typo, hey, you are talking about properties. At least typo must be accurate, right? I expect nothing in return. There's no way that audiences can pay me money. So you want to listen, it's good for you. If you don't want, then never mind, I'm all good. I'm not in a position to convince you to buy. And that approach became very forgiving in terms of creative process. Coolest thing is when my camera guy was just filming, he didn't off the record button. And a team member just asked, hey, why the door frame like that? Why the ceiling like that?
And then it became the highlight of the
Yeah. And then hey, these are things that people don't know.
What is this actually?
So this is called a shadow gap. So it's a joint between two different materials. One is the brick wall, one is the door frame. Okay, this shadow gap thing is included in the frame itself. Conventionally, the cheaper way to do it is to just connect the frame into the wall and you use the plaster to somewhat do it. But it's very 好功夫. It tests the workmanship of the person to lay a very clean line to join between the door frame and the wall. So how I look into a well-built project is by assessing joints between different materials. So like in between doors and walls, in between beams and columns, joints are the best place to access workmanship. Yeah, so and these are the things that we often like, nobody wants to talk about it. For example, like freehold, leasehold, right?
Yeah.
Like so many lawyers come to me and they want to start content. But like after I study 5 years, 6 years, practice so long, right? You want me to talk about freehold? There's so much more complicated stuff, ma. So when the intent is to impress other professionals, then it becomes very tough. Sometimes, again, as creators, we will be very romantic of the final presentation, that half an hour or 20 minutes video. But what's important inside is only like 35 seconds. Put emphasis on the 35 seconds more than the overall. And sometimes you, like when they say like, what's the reason of it being viral? A lot of people know how to do post-game analytics.
Yeah.
But when you're in the game, you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
You got what I mean? Like football, like basketball. Well, he should have passed, he should have shot, he should have ran towards the goal, right?
Not in the court, like,
When at that moment, right, it's a split second kind of thing. So sometimes when we listen to all these experts or people teaching you what to do, right, the video part or things like that, only when it's famous they teach you like it's working. But when you are editing, you don't know.
Yeah.
There's this thing I practice also. I will try to improve one thing from my previous video all the time. A lot of people think that, hey, wow, 4 years ago you are 0, now you are like 90 over 1,000 subs, right?
Yeah.
But they don't see the 1,000 videos in between. So that would be the RAM that we spoke about just now, where we call a speed RAM, right? So in one RAM, you get to access to 3 levels of car park all together. That's why from ground floor 1, 2, straight away you reach the highest floor already. It's great. But what's weird as well will be this ad tower. I think if you put placement for advertisement here, it will contribute to the management. Most likely, I think that's the case.
What was the biggest challenge?
So before I was embarking into this, I was at a junction of career actually. Previously, I had a bad investment, and because of that, in order to create fun, I was doing Amway. Then I have 6 working legs if you are into MLMs.
Yeah.
So I'm like, on the pathway to diamond ship already. Everybody like, the next rising star. But this rising star suddenly just call it quit. I will make YouTube videos.
Did you have like a identity crisis at that time?
Always had, because when I came out from the development office, no companies want to hire me. I sent out 163 resumes because I'm all around the place. I'm like, are you technical? Are you design? Are you project management? Are you quality? Are you marketing? Are you branding? What's wrong with being good with everything? But when it comes to corporate, they want to, they prefer silo.
One
They like specialization, right? But my kind of mediocre with the learning curve is actually better than your specialized people. Oh, but you're all around the place. After that, right, I had a channel then where I can share almost everything.
Yeah.
When I keep sharing and like 1,000 videos later, right, I still feel like I haven't started.
My parents did a lot of investment, but it was never a topic. We never spoke about it. So they do have properties under them. They rent out, growing out, they would say, hey, get a job, go into this line of work, it pays well. But we've never talked about investment as in how do you accumulate wealth? How do you build up assets? That's why I had zero knowledge before watching your videos.
People start commenting back, hey, your channel is helpful because as a mother now, I get to buy my first property because of your video. A lot of people measure by like metric, the vanity metric, right? I measure myself based on how many times people say thank you. 3 years ago, I bought this, Sean, where you say it's okay, whatever. Last year, I sold it, I made so much money, and I upgraded into a next residence. And from the renter, now I get to send my kid to whatever. Wow, you look at it. Yeah, so when you start doing your thing, then you will attract people who like the things that you do. Then I keep one authenticity, then like your product not good, but you want me to kind of bluff people that it's good.
Yeah, how do you handle that?
I don't. I decline.
So when a property company comes to you and say, okay, we would like to pay you a sum of money to review, but we want you to sugarcoat this thing.
No. So because of that, right, this is me being a little bit stubborn. And this stubbornness results in a lot of lawyer letters.
No way.
Because they kind of, hey, because of your video you uploaded, our bookings dropped by half.
Yeah,
Like, but,
sure.
but I'm trained in a development setting before, so lawyer letter throw left, right, center, and every day, right? Most of the time I publish a video already, then only whatever payments we will arrange later. So even if you don't like me, you don't like the video, don't pay me. Yeah, and that's how I prioritize my freedom in creativity more. And I'm very kanjong about my weekly routine of publishing the video. It has to go out. Like, why? Like, can you wait for 1 week? No. Because like, if you are okay with 1 week not uploading, what's wrong with 2 weeks? You say yes to every offer, right? Eventually you will get molded into what they want you to be. My goal is to have, like just now what I say, like children of my audiences coming to me telling me that their parents do damn good. How do I grow it further? When that happens, right, indirectly I'm changing a lot of families' life. And the coolest thing is when the podcast, I invite them, people who bought first, second, third, right, and they come to my podcast and share. It's like watching myself speak. Yeah, and that drives me. So suddenly now, they have other nephews and nieces following them in investing.
It's like a network effect.
Yeah.
I mean, you can give me a figure if you're not so comfortable, but how much do these property companies pay you for a review?
Very cheap. So I have competitors coming to me, right, saying that I'm charging like less than 1/3. It was also done in a way where it becomes like a default selection, because I would have done it for free. So like, I think a month, one paid review a month.
Yeah.
And I publish like 20 over videos a month. So in terms of quantity, right, it's the worst business model ever. Now, even like I have all the reasons of charging more, right? I don't, because I want it to be like the staple channel to go to whenever people buy property. It's too good already, right, to not get Sean to come into this new project. But for me, if you don't get me through, right, I will walk in myself and see. So you kind of want to pay me, right, it's already a bonus. So last time when I started, I need to pay agents so I can do a video for them. Yeah, so now it's like when people are willing to pay me to do what I love doing. Wow, you look at the amount of effort versus return. But what they fail to see is the impact to the community. Indirectly, that's called brand.
Personal brand versus company brand. So that right now, you're more of a personal brand, right? What are your thoughts between both?
All this while, I have been branding the company that I was in. So for the developer office, for the real estate agency, I keep branding other people until like, hey, after I leave, right, after I tender the resignation, right, apa pun tak ada. So when I brand myself to an extent where it became like, my name is written out in a way where people thought it is the name that I created. Whether or not personal brand or not, I think people think about this too much. It's a mere document away to make iherng into a company. Like ultimately, I'm charging all companies on invoicing all companies using my name.
What would you wish most brands would know about in the influencing marketing?
Like the amount of likes, the amount of things, those all can be engineered. Right? So when they submit the resume to you, as per se, or the profile to you, it's all engineered. But most of the time when brands run campaigns, they want effectiveness. Then they look at, who's the most famous? So indirectly, right, influence world, the top 3% gets 90% of all brands.
Yeah.
And to them, right, you are just another brand. Do you think they were like, wow, thank you so much for sponsoring me? Now, I think the audience also are trained enough to know whether are you genuinely pushing the brand for them or the money.
So anyway, thanks.
Thank you.
Again, thank you for coming and agreeing to attend the
anything for you, bro.
Thank you. And that is Sean.